You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KCCZ LP Conroe and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Extension Hour. I'm Amy Ressler, County Extension Agent for Family and Community Health, and I have the whole crew with me today. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Priscilla Chacon, and I am a Extension Agent for Better Livings for Texans.
Hi, I'm Mike McBride, and I am the Program Assistant for Family and Community Health.
I'm Michele. I'm an Extension Assistant with Better Living for Texans.
Yeah, so lots of times when we do our radio show, so when we do the Family and Community Health Hour, when it's our turn, we bring in a lot of people, community organizations that we partner with and we do programming with. But today I wanted to just kind of toot our own horn because, sometimes we don't do that often enough. And lots of times people ask us, well, what do you guys do? And what do you guys say when someone says, what do you do? Priscilla?
Everything and anything you want us to do.
Right?
What don't we do?
Yeah. What do you say, Michele?
Tell me what you need.
Yep. So we are very responsive to what the community needs, and it is hard to really put everything in a nutshell. And so we could talk hours about it, but we're going to talk today about it. That's going to be our topic for conversation today. I'm talking just a little bit about what we do in Extension and what we do in family and community health, because sometimes we take it for granted that people know what we do, and then, like I said, sometimes it's just kind of hard to explain. But sometimes I've heard that we're like the best kept secret. Mm-hmm. And I've heard people say, oh my gosh, you guys do so many things. How do we find out about your things? And, we're like, well, we don't have like a national advertising campaign or anything, or even a statewide advertising campaign. It's mostly by word of mouth that we just tell people. So we actually put together a brochure that we have that we can share with people to just kind of say, here is what we do. So like I said, we wanted to talk about that just a little bit today. So let me just kind of back up for everyone who doesn't know. I mean, I know you guys know, and you've heard me say this like a million times, so don't go to sleep, okay? Just stay with me. Yeah. So Texas A&M is a land-grant university, and land grants were established to do three things, and that's education, research, and extension. So, every university does education and research, but Texas A&M, as a land-grant university, does that extension, taking the education and research out to the people of the state. And so that's what makes us a little bit different, and that's our connection with Texas A&M. But we are in every county in Texas, so even in other parts where they tend to be fans of other schools, they still what we do. We're there to do community outreach to reach everyone. So we have several different areas that we work in: agriculture and natural resources. There's the 4-H and youth development program. And then, of course, we do family and community health. And then within family and community health, there's lots of areas that we work in. And one, obviously, is the Better Living for Texans program that we have our wonderful coworkers here that I'm going to talk a little bit more about. But yeah, we do. Gosh, we do so many things. And right now, in our extension office here in Montgomery County, we're fortunate that we have a fairly large staff. We have about 5 extension agents that are there to work and to serve the community, but right now we're 2 down. We had 1 retirement and 1 transferred over to the Forest Service. So we actually have 2 openings in our office right now. So again, we take turns when we do the radio show here, and we you'll hear somebody different almost every time, but you'll probably hear us a little more often until we get those positions filled. So family and community health. Extension is all about helping Texans make their lives better. And family and community health, obviously, if you're healthy and your family life is such a huge part of your life, if those things are going well, then that's going to definitely help your health. So it's all about educational programs designed to improve the overall health and wellness of individuals, families, and communities. And all of our programs are developed by subject matter specialists. So there are some things that we've developed locally to address our local issues, but our specialists provide a lot of our educational subject matter, handouts, curriculum, all that kind of thing that we do, so that we're able to. They're like an expert in a certain field, whereas we do a little bit of everything. And even within BLT. Still, there's a wide range of things that you address with BLT. It's not just one thing. So lots and lots of different things. But we focus on topics such as health and child and adult health, nutrition, child care, financial management, passenger and community safety, and building strong families. And overall, our goal is to help encourage lifelong health and well-being for every person, every family, and every community. Sounds good, huh? So let's go ahead and get into it and talk a little bit more about the things that we do, and because I'm kind of rambling on now. But so one of you tell us about Better Living for Texans. What's the purpose of that?
So I'll speak. I love coming to the radio. No, it's been a journey. I just started. Well, not just started, but I'm newer to the group.
Right, you're probably the newest of us.
Right, and so I've just been really pleased to see how Better Living for Tech is what we really do is just focus on those that are SNAP-Ed or SNAP eligible.
Right,
and
so SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, used to be food stamps. Yep.
Right, and so what we do is we really come out and we really target that audience in particular, and we try to focus on just eating better, how to live better, how to live healthier, how to incorporate, fitness with healthy eating. And so, Michelle, you want to add something?
That's true. And in addition, our program reaches both youth and adult participants to bring them we want to see them increase that fruit and vegetable intake, which is a great asset to our health, increase their physical activity, and understand some safety management in their own kitchens that will help prevent foodborne illness. We also like to introduce some gardening aspects, because gardening not only helps with our physical well-being, but our emotional well-being, our financial, because it can supplement our grocery income. And it can be, we go all over the place.
We do. Montgomery County's big.
Yes.
There's lots of things to do. So Better Living for Texans program is, as Priscilla mentioned, part of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program education component. So it does get federal funding, and the primary target for our Better Living for Texans program is those who receive SNAP benefits or could potentially receive SNAP benefits. We don't like check your ID at the door to see if you're on benefits, but we do try to focus in those areas where there is a lot of need, and partner with a lot of agencies who also serve the same audience. And we have great classes that we do. Before we move on, Mike, you want to tell us a little bit about some of the things you do? We'll talk more in detail later, but.
Okay, mostly I've been focusing on financial education, working with halfway house for inmates who just got out of jail. I worked at a senior citizens, helping those folks out. I also have been working on, the most exciting project I think I've been working on is the electric pressure cooker classes.
Yeah.
Something our office is developing, and we're taking it out on the street, beta testing it.
Come on by.
To the area libraries. I'd be willing to take this to any location if you've got a place that is interested in electric pressure cooking. Give us a shout.
Instapot.
Yeah.
That's the brand name.
And what I tell people, it's like here in Texas, we say we're going out for a Coke.
Right.
So if 4 of us go out for a Coke, one gets Sprite, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, maybe no one gets Coke. Instant Pot is what people know, but that is a trade name.
Right.
So we're not promoting Instant Pot itself.
It's a more common one, though. That
People know what it is. Yeah.
So I remember one time as a child, speaking of the Coke thing, I was somewhere at a concession stand, and I ordered a Coke, and they gave me a Coke. And I was like, I wanted a Dr. Pepper. And they were like, you said Coke. So one of the things that's really important with our extension education program and the things we do is, like I said, we're community driven, but it's really important to have voices from the community that help us decide what we do. I mean, some of the things are, like I said, they're developed by specialists, and we implement those because the specialists have done the research and found that it's a need in the communities, and they've developed the curriculum, and it just makes sense to do those kinds of things. But we also utilize a committee that helps us determine what's important right here in Montgomery County. Because what's important here might be a little different than what's important, next door in Grimes County or next door in Harris County. We could have very similar programs. We could have very different programs. But I just want to take just a minute to recognize some of our committee members that have been just really helpful for us in serving on our family and community health committee. So Brett Roloff and Veronica Figueroa from Costco, our friends over at Costco, they come over and help us out. And I think that they have a really unique perspective with the people that they see at Costco and the things that they see are important. And then we have Carrie Johnson. She's from Buckner Family Services, friend of Michelle's that she brought her into the committee. And she works with low-income audiences, and they've got some really special programs. We need to have them on sometime to talk about what they do, for sure. We've got Devery Johnson, and she's from the Central Library. She's their outreach coordinator, and gosh, Devery's been with the committee even before I started working here in Montgomery County. So she's very loyal, very knowledgeable, does a great job at the library. And then we have Ed Dolphin, and he's with Bartlett Tree Experts, and which is always interesting to have an arborist, but he does have a interesting perspective, and he is really helpful, giving us advice. And one thing I love about him is he plays Santa at during Christmas, so it makes me want to go give him a hug because he looks just like Santa. We have Elda Torres, who is from the MET program, so that's Motivation, Education, Training, and it's a special project that they have that's called HOPES. And I could tell you what that acronym is, but I'd probably butcher it. We also have Elizabeth Anderson. She's from the Conroe Parks and Rec and works specifically at the Oscar Johnson Community Center. Jeff Williams from Eagle's Nest, which is one of those transitional housing, and they do way more than that. It's a ministry for men who've just gotten out of prison. Kay Trott, she's a member of our Texas Extension Education Association. Christy Leggett, she's from Bridgewood Farms. We've got Laura Jorgensen. She's a volunteer. She's also a master candidate for public health, and she actually used to work with us. She was a Better Living for Texans extension assistant, and just awesome. We're so glad she's with us. Marcella Bryers, I always forget that R. Marcella Bryers from Lone Star Family Health. We've got Margie Taylor. She's from Taylorized PR. Marilyn Kazmierski, she's in private consulting and does volunteer work, and we love having her. Mike Sasser, who's a local author, wrote a book about weight loss. Paula Odom from Entergy, Texas. Roland Gutierrez from MET, Motivation, Education, Training, and he does Family Pathways. And then Sherry Schweitzer, who's with Texas Home Visiting. So, like I said, they provide lots of great input for us and really, really helpful. So big shout out to them and thank you to them. So do you wonder what they tell us? They are a good committee because they really do give us some good advice. But we do have to take a little bit of a break. And we'll come back and we're going to talk a little bit more in detail and let people know, how can some of these programs be available to you and your community, your area. In the meantime, you're listening to Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com, FM 104.5 and 106.1, and we'll be right back with the Extension Hour.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders.
Hey guys, this is Connor.
This is Dick.
This is Chris.
And we're with the Ticket Stub Podcast every Thursday live at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 FM in the Conroe area. Also, anytime at irlonestar.com. You go to irlonestar.com/TTS. You can find all of our social media.
And don't forget, we give away 2 tickets to the Grand Theater on every show.
If you like movies and you like complaining or celebrating anything that has to do with the silver screen, check out the Ticket Stub Podcast and join us every Thursday at noon o'clock on Lone Star Community Radio.
Welcome back. We're here with the family and community health, the whole crew almost, except for Jenny. Jenny's not with us. She's holding down the fort back at the office, but big shout out to Jenny Adams. We like to call her Super Jenny sometimes because she's pretty super. She's like Superwoman. She does all kinds of great things for us, keeping us all in line. So, hey, Jenny, thank you. So we're all here. We're talking about, so we're tooting our own horn. I wish we had some like actual trumpets. Does anybody play instruments?
Guitar.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
A little piano.
Okay, that doesn't work for a horn, but
No.
Yeah. But anyway, so we often have other agencies that we work with, but Right now, today, we're just going to talk about some of the things that we do because, we really do some awesome things. And often people tell us, oh my goodness, you guys do that and that and that. So we just want to share with everyone the things that we're doing. So we mentioned the Better Living for Texans program. It's part of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program education. So that's federal funding. And so one of the great things for Montgomery County is that that federal funding comes in to pay for. We've got 2 full-time assistants who are doing lots of work right here only for Montgomery County. And, it doesn't cost the county government anything. And then extension in general is just a really good bargain for the county because we do lots of great work here in the county. And the county funding is just a really small part of the total funding that comes in. So we get some federal funding, we get some state funding, and that means that Montgomery County really gets a bang for their buck by having us here. So, we're going to talk more. Better Living for Texans. So we call it BLT for short. BLT. People remember it, right? But
everyone's like, oh, like sandwich?
Yeah.
No, that's a sandwich. I do want one though, but no.
Everything in moderation, right? So Michele and Priscilla are going to share a little bit about some of the programs that they do, the programming area, and then some of the places, and a little bit about how people react to it. And also, so if you're listening and there's anything that you think, oh, that sounds great, I would love to have that, for my group or in my area, please give us a call. 936-539-7825. And it has a menu system, so then you go down and you find, I think we're number 4, so we're the 4th one. It'll list the others, and then talk to any of us, and we'll get you to the right person to get you the program that you need. So, all right, did you guys decide who's going first?
Yes, I'll go first.
Yay, Priscilla.
I know, usually I'm like, Michele, go first. Yeah, but so, like we said before, BLT, we go out to communities who are SNAP eligible or do receive benefits. And so one of the main curriculums that I've been focusing on it's called Fresh Start to a Healthier You. And so what it really is, it's just 4 classes and just talks about very general nutrition and anything to do with it. So for example, like the first class would be food safety. So we go out and we talk about, the importance of washing your hands, the importance of, of washing your fruits and vegetables. It's crazy to think that people actually wash their fruits and vegetables with bleach or with soap, especially like the Hispanic community where I've been focusing on. I guess it's something that they brought from back, in their countries. They really put the importance of, hey, I need to scrub with soap. I'm like, no, you don't, because at the same time, the fruits are very porous, and so what happens is it tends to absorb, right, those chemicals that we're cleaning it with. So they're always like, that's it, just water. I'm like, yes, that's all you need, just water and a good scrub, and you're good. And so their reaction to that is like priceless because they think that I'm crazy. And they're like, no, we're not going to listen to the white person. I'm like, I'm not white, I'm Hispanic, I promise. So then I talk to them in Spanish, and then they're just like, oh, okay, we believe you, we trust you. But so we talked about food safety. We also talk about My Plate. So I love My Plate. I never understood, maybe because I was younger, but I never understood the pyramid. It was just a whole bunch of quadrants and vegetables shoved into them. But when USDA came out with My Plate, it just divided everything so nice and clear. We have, fruits and vegetables taking up half the plate. Then we have the importance of grains and protein and dairy. And so we go over that in classes, and we just give examples about how can we develop, with the food that we eat already at home, how could we develop that into, a more healthier way of eating. And so, for example, when I talk to, I'm on Wednesdays, I'm generally at the Willis Parent Resource Center. And so that group has been growing. It's like word of mouth. So every week I have 2 more people coming in and joining in on us. And I really like it because it's different from my other classes. They're predominantly Hispanic ladies there. And so we talk a lot about Mexican food and Mexican culture. And I tell them, I think one of my when we were talking about My Plate, I was like, well, that fits perfectly. Tacos fit perfectly into My Plate. plate, you know?
Sure. See, and you don't tell them, you know, you can't eat Mexican food anymore. You can't eat what you're used to or what you love. You just give them some adaptations to do that, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so if you really look at, you know, the way that the Mexican culture, for example, in this case, if you see how they cook with a lot of vegetables. They cook with a lot of greens. They really do. The only little issue we have is they go excessive on the dairy products. So there's like a lot of cheese involved, which isn't a bad thing, but again, everything in moderation. So we have, and they're really excited and they're really open-minded to see, oh, okay, so we're not so bad, but we can fine-tune, you know, the way that we do cook, the methods that we use to cook these foods. And then we also go into meal prepping, which is something also that's very not common in this culture, only because you're so used to catering to all the children that you have there, your husband, and so the mother becomes like the chef. And so we have mom who doesn't have time to be with her kids at the table because she's so busy, you know, cooking all these different foods. And so we talk about how, you know, you could meal prep for the week, and so you could have your kids try new foods and have them help you in the kitchen. And so that's been going along with them. It's been really nice to see how they've evolving and getting the feedback from them when they come back and they're like, yeah, we tried it, we tried this recipe, they ate it, they tried it. So it's really nice to hear. We also go over budgeting, how to, you know, shop on a budget, because sometimes it's a misconception of, you know, healthy eating comes with a really large price tag,
right.
and which is not the case at all. When we do talk about them, we talk about you know, the difference between fresh fruits and canned fruits and frozen fruits. And so we don't have to spend a lot of money to have a very nutritious and all around meal. And am I missing something? No, I think that's about with that curriculum. So it really is a nice starter whenever we go to a new site. I don't know about you, Michele, but we tend to start with that one. It kind of gives us like a broad spectrum of where we want to go with the program, and then we kind of opens up to tailoring to other programs that we have that Michele will kind of speak to you about.
So the next one that I'm going to share with you is Eat Smart, Live Strong. And this is a curriculum that's primarily focused toward our senior audiences, but it's reaching them with the importance of maintaining that healthy movement at any age and any stage of ability, and getting that focused impact on continuing to increase or maintain your vegetable intake, reduce that sodium, reduce the fat, watch the sugar, and to get the resources that they need. A lot of our seniors in our recent classes have shared, you know, the struggles of getting to the store, getting the groceries purchased. Maybe even meal prep can be a challenge with different needs in the area. And so our recent one, which I've been at Camelot Pines lately, and we have a great group there. We had an entire strategy session on solving problems. What's the situation? What can we do to fix it? And how can we help each other? Sure. And so that curriculum really gives us a nice, you know, talking point set up for that, and integrating that healthy movement and letting them know that no matter what, you can still move your body.
Right. And I think for older adults too, one of the things that they've been accustomed to cooking for a lot of people throughout their lives, and now it's just me, or it's just me and maybe one other person. So adapting, and then how the needs change as they get older. So that's a great curriculum as well. Yeah.
It is, and we're really enjoying it there at that particular center. And then we have some potential ones coming up the next month that will be with the Volunteers of America senior programs.
Oh, great.
The next program that we're looking at is Step Up to Scale Down. This is a 12-week program that's focused on healthy eating, physical activity, and also healthy weight loss. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions and a lot of media exposure on diet and weight loss. And you spend a whole lot of time busting the myths.
Yes.
But this is a really good program to get people focused on their calorie intake, their movement level, kind of tracking things and seeing where they're going. And we've done this at various transitional housing facilities, crisis centers, where they just need to kind of get an awareness of what they're doing and where they can make adjustments.
And that's a 12-week program.
It is.
And then I just want to interject here just a little bit, not specifically for Better Living for Texans, but through the state, they offer some online classes, usually at the beginning of the year. And Mike, you were able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, just take advantage of that. It was really pretty interesting the way they help you to begin to set your own goals and to make steps to achieve those goals. So as you break everything down, You get some real nice recipes every week, very tasty ones, I might add. I tried a couple.
Yeah. So a lot of people think when they're going to, if I'm going to lose weight, like I have to, the only way to lose weight is take out everything that tastes good. That's the only way to lose weight, right? That's totally untrue.
Fake news.
Yeah, a lot of what they're after is also to get you to start moving, just walking or doing something other than sitting down watching TV with your clicker. So your thumb gets strong, but that's about it.
Yeah, and cutting out a lot of extra sugar. That's just
yes.
making small habit changes, and so we're not looking. Step up, scale down doesn't look at like drastic. You're going to lose 50 pounds in 12 weeks, but teaching healthier habits is definitely
It's baby
something.
steps.
Yeah, and which is kind of true, I guess, of all of the things that we're talking about. All of the most all of our programs, so family and community health, we really focus on health, not trendy diets, not quick or tricks or any of that. Just really having healthier lifestyles.
Right.
Okay, so we've got way more to talk about, but we have to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to be back in just a little bit. And you're listening to Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 and 106.1. We'll be right back with the Extension Hour. Family and community health programs provide science-based education designed to improve the overall health and wellness of individuals, families, and communities. Developed by experts and delivered locally, topics include child and adult health, nutrition, child care, financial management, passenger and community safety, and building strong families, all encouraging lifelong health and well-being for every person, every family, and every community. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Relax with a cup of joe or your favorite drink for the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce Chamber Chat. The show airs on the first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. on Lone Star Community Radio. Join hosts Courtney Galley and Brian Bondi as they chat about the Chamber's events and programs for the month and invite Chamber members into the studio to talk about their upcoming events and businesses. Learn about your Chamber with Chamber Chat every first Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Welcome back on this lovely Friday afternoon, and we're here every Friday, 1 to 2. Sometimes different people here, but you'll probably be hearing us a little bit more often in the next couple of months, just because we've got a couple of vacancies in the office. But we'll get those filled soon, because there is a lot to do here in Montgomery County in terms of education and what we do in Texas A&M Agrilife Extension. And we have been talking a lot about some of the programs. We're focusing right now on our Better Living for Texans program. We've got the lovely Michele, the lovely Priscilla. We have the lovely Mike McBride with us as well. It's a lovely day. We're all lovely. Although we were just having a little conversation during the break about this weather. It's kind of, it's nice. I'm not complaining, but it is a little unusual. It's a little cooler maybe than what we were expecting. But that means you can get out and get more physical activity.
That's right.
Because that's a lot better. A lot of what we talk about in family and community health. Just trying to give people like really good, realistic things that they can do. And, we don't tell them you have to change everything that, your whole lifestyle changes are important. And I'm not going to lie about that. But we're not super, what am I trying to say? Like,
Super adamant about it? Or
yeah, we're
intrusive?
not really restrictive, and we try to help people find the things that work for them. And there's a lot about health besides just the way you look. Lots of folks think, you have to look a certain way, and that equals healthy.
No.
But it's
There's emotional health.
Oh, yeah.
Behavioral health. I guess what we focus on is the overall health product of the family as a whole.
Sure.
Which is not, so a lot of people, when we talk about health, it's automatically body image, like you're saying.
Right, right. You think you have to, have the muscles or the, yeah. But there's a lot more to health than, inside and out.
Right.
So we've been talking about our Better Living for Texans program, and we mentioned the Fresh Start to a Healthier You, the Eat Smart, Live Strong, Step Up, Scale Down. And so these, and we're going to talk about some more, but all of these are available to anybody. So we do focus on these in our Better Living for Texans program, but we can offer them anywhere in the community where people are interested. And I would mention that all of those are series, so we try to have several classes, because, we can just scratch the surface with only one class. There's a lot to changing habits and implementing more healthy habits. So sometimes it takes a little bit of repetition. So we have series, but we have more. Which ones do you guys want to talk about next?
So the next one that we're looking at is growing and nourishing healthy communities. And this is a gardening class. And I just wrapped one up with our Military Veterans Peer Network and our American Legion. So we bring people together. We look at how to choose a garden site, how to build a garden, how to plant and maintain that garden, and then how to harvest those items. We do Q&A and strategies when it comes to pest management or disease management. We have an online Facebook group where we share our successes and our struggles. And I mean, just yesterday we were going over the spots on a tomato plant and figuring out what's wrong with the tomato. Is it going to be okay? Do I need to pull it out before something spreads? And so it's gathering people together as a community to understand gardening together, gardening in their own backyard. And successfully, we've had 2 sessions of Military Veteran Peer Network groups graduate the class and are in their 3rd season of gardening in their own homes.
That's awesome.
With harvest and having a successful harvest. So that's very exciting to hear that people in our community are growing their own food, growing enough food to share with their neighbors, and are coming back and saying, hey, by the way, I did this class, and look, this is my 3rd season gardening. So
Awesome.
And Michele is our Better Living for Texans Extension Assistant in her professional life, but in her personal life, she's also a master gardener, volunteer, and does lots of gardening at home as well. Yeah. So just want to mention, too, about our Master Gardener program. It's awesome as well. I've said the word awesome a lot today.
We're just so awesome.
We are. But the Master Gardeners, we have about 350-ish in Montgomery County, so just a whole wealth of knowledge and information to help people with gardening. And, they volunteer their time to do that, to help others. And the thing about gardeners, I've noticed that they just have a real passion. Once they become gardeners, they're very passionate about it, which is great to share that with others. And like we've mentioned, vegetables, fruits are the best thing for good health. And so you grow vegetables, you eat more vegetables, you eat more fruits.
And we almost garden year-round in Texas. We're very fortunate to have an almost year-round garden season, so we're very lucky in that.
Yeah. So what else, Priscilla?
So our next program is called Walk and Talk. And I currently, right now, almost finishing up with this program. And it's a perfect combination of just a small little class about anything, really. And we kind of incorporate that, well, not anything nutrition related, but we incorporate that with balancing physical activity as well. So, again, like for last week, I was talking about the importance of hydration. Now that we're getting into the summer months of Texas, hydration is really, really important because we lose a lot of, our water with just sweating. When we go to the bathroom, we have to be constantly making sure that we're getting hydrated because there you go, Mike. Mike is just taking a sip of water right now. He's like, let me just take that.
Good job.
And so we did, and then we kind of talked about a little bit of why water is a better beverage choice over other types of beverages out there like Coca-Cola or Dr. Pepper and fruit juices. And so we incorporated that in the beginning of the class, and then we went into a full Zumba class right afterwards, which I was extremely sore, the next day. But it's just to show you how the things that we do in BLT, it's not only, you're getting lectured at. We really want to incorporate all types of health aspects into this. And so it's really, really fun. The participants really do enjoy it at the end of the day. They're always very eager to come back, the next week, and they always provide feedback. Hey, I did this. Hey, this worked out for me. You know what? That recipe was not good at all. And so we do talk about things. And so it's a really nice curriculum that, again, if you are interested in any of these topics, please feel free to let us know. Me and Michele are more than happy to come out.
Sure. And I would just mention with the Walk and Talk that is kind of a supplemental to our Walk Across Texas project. So Walk Across Texas is an 8-week program that encourages people to get more physically active. Within 8 weeks, we want teams of up to 8 people to do physical activity. So walking or other physical, or Zumba, you could Zumba across Texas. So whatever, just different types of physical activity. And like you mentioned with the classes, it's really motivating to have other people there and other people depending on you. So that's kind of a little bit of the idea of Walk Across Texas too. You're working in a team. You've got your team members depending on you. So Walk Across Texas. So 8 weeks. Teams of up to 8. The goal is to do about 832 miles, which is roughly the distance from El Paso to Orange. And the cool thing about that is that means that you're probably getting close to, if not more than, 150 minutes of physical activity in a week, which is what the CDC, or the Center for Disease Control, suggests for healthy adults. So it's just kind of a nice way to do that. But the cool thing about Walk and Talk is, again, you're doing it together, and you're also learning other things. So it's just kind of like an enhancement to that. So Walk Across Texas, right now we're doing our community challenge. So months of April, May, you can actually sign up for Walk Across Texas anytime. But during the months of April and May, because we do a big push with our community challenge, we have prizes, which is really cool. So, hopefully it's motivational to people. So there's a weekly email newsletter that goes out that kind of recognizes the teams that are doing well. It usually has a link to something related to health and physical activity and that kind of thing. So that's another. So that's really easy. You can call this extension office if you need to know how to sign up, or you can just go online. It's http:// So you don't necessarily have to put in the www. We found that actually causes some problems. But anyway, walkacrosstexas.tamu.edu. That's the website. So Walk and Talk also is very cool. But you have to get these ladies to help with that.
And another program that incorporates Walk Across Texas is the Learn, Grow, Eat, Go program with the schools. So Learn, Grow, Eat, Go is a research evidence curriculum that we have focusing on science, math, language, arts, reading, social studies, and health.
A little bit of everything.
It's a little bit of everything. But it reaches those teaks that are in a teacher's already to-do list. So it comes in and complements the existing curriculum in a school. The teachers can do them themselves. The lessons, there's 10 lessons. They take a few moments of your time. They kind of hands-on engage you in a classroom to learn the different aspects of health, of growing your own food. There's an option to put a garden in there. There's an option to do Walk Across Texas. There's an option for hands-on cooking demonstrations to kind of complement and come together. And we do have about 4 schools in the county that are very intensely participating in the Grow Eat Go program, and we've had great success. We've had parents that send home messages saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm tired of buying spinach and making spinach quesadillas," because that's the most popular one that the kids found that year, or that their children are excited about learning how to use different herbs in their food to reduce their sodium intake.
And it's really cool because the kids are involved in doing it. It makes them excited about doing it. And then they're learning along the way. So it's really preparing them for the test, because that's what the TEACS does. But they're internalizing it because they're really experiencing it. They're not just hearing it, but they're actually doing it.
Right. And that hands-on engagement in where your food comes from sometimes leads to a better encouragement to taste that food. If you grew your own tomato, you might be more than likely to try it.
Sure. All right. So other programs that we have for kids?
We have one other one, which is called Balancing Food and Play. And this one's still, honestly, I'm still reading over it. But it sounds like a really, really, really good program to incorporate, again, the difference between healthy eating and physical activity in our elementary schools in Montgomery County. So what it is, it just promotes more fruits and veggie consumption with the kids, and it also helps promote, physical activity. We want them to get at least an hour a day, if not more. And it doesn't have to be like a whole hour. It could be in increments throughout the day, but that's the goal. And to limit the amount of television or any screen that they may have. That's also including iPads, iPhones, anything. And so it's really interesting, and I'm really excited to get out there and start that in our schools.
And that one also has TEACS attached to it. So again, it's helping teachers do what they've got to do to meet the standards that they have, but it also helps engage the kids and get them involved and excited, and hopefully it sticks better because they're, again, learning by doing. And so any of the programs for kids, we do sometimes just one time in schools. So you guys did a little bit of just kind of a sample class for our teacher the other day, just to give her an idea of what it would be like, to see if that's something that she really wants to do. Another thing that we do with kids sometimes is our chef plate and professor, teaching kids about healthy pizzas. Do you have something you want to say? You just smiled.
Yeah, during the
Mike wears green hair.
During my interview, my anniversary is next Tuesday, 1 year. But during the interview process, I think it was Jenny turned around and says, "I see him in green hair." And almost the first week that I was here, I ended up with this green wig with little lights flashing. But the kids love.
Welcome.
Yeah, Amy describes herself as a cross between a rodeo clown and Pippi Longstocking.
Or Rainbow Bright. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a blast. It's a fun thing to go out and do, and the kids really get energized. I hate what we do to the students when they go back to the classroom because they're wired.
Get them excited.
Yeah, but they learn an awful lot, and it's such a fun way to present this information.
Yeah. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that and a few other things that we can do, but we have to take another little break. But we'll be back in just a minute, and you're listening to irlonestar.com, 104.5 and 106.1. See you in just a minute. Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service is all about extending knowledge and providing solutions. We do that by using science-based information to create high-quality and relevant education for the people of Texas. More importantly, this outstanding education is delivered locally, right here in our county. We encourage lasting and effective change that helps our communities and our county thrive. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
We have the safest food supply in the world. Strict laws and regulations restrict the usage of hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides within our food supply. Production agriculture practices and technologies such as the use of GMOs, which is not any more or less risky than conventional crop production, has allowed American farmers to produce more food on less acres in environmentally sound ways. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make lives better.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Welcome back to the Extension Hour, Family and Community Health, and thanks for giving us some time to let us toot our horn just a little bit about some of the great programs that we do. Because people ask us often, what all do you do? And it's like, how do you have a few minutes? Because there's a lot that we do. And we've mentioned before, we try to focus those tailor to what people need and what they ask for. We have a committee that helps us make those decisions. And then we just try to be very responsive to the requests that are out there. Actually, one thing that we responded to was a few years ago, United Ways wanted to give us some money to teach nutrition, but they wanted it to be very, very hands-on and to be very mobile. So they went to different parts of the county where, one of the issues that we have here in Montgomery County, transportation is kind of difficult, and particularly for our lower income audiences, just kind of getting around can be a challenge. And then besides that, just the geographical size, people don't want to go across the county to go attend a class. So we try to take the classes to them. And one way we do that is with our On the Road to Healthy Living mobile cooking school. That's a hands-on cooking school. We prepare a full meal. We sit down and we eat it together. And we talk about, what does my plate really look like when it's on my plate? Right. So lots of good stuff there. We also teach a lot of food safety. I can do food handler courses, so people who need their food handler certificates, if you prefer to have it in person as opposed to online. There's also an online system so that A&M does. You can do that pretty quick and easy, and I like to think that we're pretty awesome because we do great stuff. I mentioned the Walk Across Texas program. We do that. We do our community challenge usually every spring, but again, you can sign up for that just about any time. Child care provider training, we do that as well so that we give people, child care providers have to have so many continuing education. And so we usually provide a workshop each year, or we can do individual classes for folks. And then Families Reading Every Day. That's one of my
Yay.
projects. Talk about that, Mike.
Okay, we are just now winding up this semester's Families Reading Every Day. It started off as Fathers Reading Every Day, but not every family has a dad in it. So we want the families to read, and no child would be left out that way. We do try to encourage dads, grandpas, uncles, big brothers, anyone, males especially, to start reading with the kiddos.
Sure, because the research shows that makes a significant impact.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
moms are important, but moms tend to do it all already. So having a dad involved makes a big difference.
It's just that
too.
added extra component. But what we ask the folks to do is a 4-week program, and right now we're working with primarily the Head Starts in the county. We ask for the first 2 weeks that the families read 15 minutes per day, and they record their reading times. Then we also, the second 2 weeks, we ask for 30 minutes a day. I send out a newsletter encouraging people, but we've also linked in this time My Plate. So on each newsletter, there was something about eat more vegetables, eat more fruit, and here's how you can do that. And we do it in bilingual. Thank you, Priscilla, for helping me translate so much.
And Google Translate.
Yeah, and Google. I speak Spanish, but it's not really that great yet. But it's been a real blast. We'll have a celebration in May at each of these schools. We have volunteers from Entergy and fire station. Oh, the kids love the fire trucks. Mm-hmm. But all sorts of different volunteers will come in and read to the kids. And it's fun to watch the kids just sit down and, wide-eyed, listen to these stories.
Yep. So there's supplemental things to it, too. So like you mentioned, the newsletter to help families. And then there's a guide that they get that kind of gives them some tips for reading out loud and some suggestions for books and all that kind of thing. And, and then there's at the celebration event. And actually, the celebration event, they get some little prizes for participating. And then also the Girl Scouts, they donate books so that every kid gets to go home with a book, which is really, really cool.
The last thing that we do there, though, because it is part of A&M, we ask for a survey so we find out if we really are making an impact. And it looks like from the data that we are.
Yeah, most definitely. And we're actually working on updating that curriculum to make sure that it's fresh and new. And I'm pretty excited about that. Another thing, we talked about kids, also older adults. We have lots of programs for them. And Master of Memory is one that's fun, people enjoy. And you recently taught one over at the Academy for Lifelong Learning, right?
Right over at Lone Star, and that was a blast. The people were so responsive to it. I got a kick out of how engaged it would be as you suggest one item. We talk about styles of learning, and I think, Michele, you were mentioning earlier that the more senses you do use with your kids, and that's what we stress with the older folks too. If you want to retain your cognitive abilities, use all 5 senses. And not just visual learning, not just audio learning, not just tactile, incorporate all 3 into your learning skills. And so we have the same message from elementary school up to the retired folks.
Sure. And you mentioned earlier family financial management. We've got a couple of things that addressing older, the whole lifespan. So young ones learning all the way up to older folks.
Yeah, Money Smart I can do for elementary, for the general population. There's one class just for seniors. We also do Welcome to the Real World, which is developed by our agencies. So it's, you tell us what you need and we'll bring the curriculum to you and cater it to you.
Sure. And sometimes people are surprised to know that we do child passenger safety. So we have 4 certified technicians in our office now who can check child safety seats. And, and until you've strapped a kid into one of those car seats, it seems real simple, but there can be some not tricks, but it can. Once you figure it out, it's pretty simple, but it can take a little bit to figure out. So Michele is a child passenger safety technician, so is Mike, and then Jenny in our office, and me, and then we're going to get Priscilla certified pretty soon so she can do it too. So as we interact with families, we are able to offer that to them as well. So, oh my goodness, so many things. Path to the Plate is another one, connecting agriculture and health. There's a variety of programs that allow us, or a variety of topics that we can talk about. Because I guess we kind of alluded to it earlier. There is some misinformation out there, particularly when it comes to health and well-being and where our food comes from and is our food safe. Not just safe in terms of foodborne illnesses, but lots of fear that comes around with pesticides and GMOs and that kind of thing. So we try to provide facts for people so that they can make their decisions based on facts and not on fearful situations because for some reason, unfortunately, out there's some fear mongering going on. I mean, I don't think people really try to scare people. They just, we all want to keep our families safe, but you have to base that on facts. Anyway, another thing, Texas Extension Education Association. I love these ladies. There's a group of ladies that are, they meet in a club, and their goal, one of the main things that they do is provide 4-H scholarships, which is awesome. But they also meet. It's good social interaction. It's a good learning, continuous learning, throughout the lifespan. So they're a fun group too. Did you have something?
And I have to throw in, it's not just ladies. There's a couple of guys in there too.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. In our group, they were both named Mike. So.
And throughout the state, there are some too. It does tend to be ladies.
More,
but,
yes.
Yeah. And then the 4-H and youth development has a lot of family and community health projects with that too. A lot of people equate 4-H with animals and stock shows and that kind of thing, but there is so much kids can learn about healthy living through the 4-H program. So one of the things coming up is our Big Time and D9 is what we call it. We're District 9, so Big Time, because it is a big time. We within 3 days, we do something like 20 or 30 different contests. So kids have a chance to participate in a lot of things, show off their skills and what they've learned. And my favorite is the food challenge. So that'll be on May 3rd. And we're always looking for volunteers. So if anybody wants to help, give us a call. And speaking of fun things for kids and volunteers, Kids Fest, that's coming up. Yeah, we'll be out there. Come say hi. Dick, will you be part of Kids Fest? You guys will be here at the radio station. You come by and wave at Dick through the window. Say, hey. I listen to your radio. So we'll be out in the Health Village. We'll have a blender bike, which is fun. There'll be lots of other agencies out there as well. Last words. We're time to wrap up. What would you say, Priscilla?
We're awesome.
I already said that. But you're right. Mike?
Yeah, I just want to throw in a quick thank you to the county judge and the commissioners, because my funding is 100% from the county. And where the federal funds have some constraints we have to be mindful of, they allow me to go to any segment of our population and teach any class that is needed. So thank you to the Montgomery County for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that they do a really great job, and we appreciate them a lot. Michele?
Call us. Give us a call. If there's something that you have in mind that we didn't mention it, just call us and ask us, because usually we have something, we just didn't mention it today.
Yeah, because there's a few more things we could have talked about, and we could have talked more in detail about some of the things, because they're awesome. We do awesome things. Did I mention that? It's pretty
awesome.
awesome.
We're all following this little menu here, and I think if anyone called and asked for it, we could get it into their hands.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We can do that. So call 936-539-7825. We're also online. We also have a Facebook page, Healthy Living in Montgomery County.
Yep.
And then you can check out our past radio shows, too, because they're podcast, which is also awesome. And you're listening to Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com, 104.5, 106.1. See you next week.
Thank you for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station. Don't forget to check out this show and many others across the Lone Star Community Radio Network, either live on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, the Lone Star Internet Radio app, or irlonestar.com's live audio stream, and on replay on podcast, Channel 12's Our City TV in Conroe, or Channel 21 KVQT in Houston, and of course their YouTube channel. This production is copyrighted and all rights are reserved by Lone Star Community Radio. Have a question regarding this program or other Lone Star Community Radio shows? Want to sponsor or start your own show? Call the station message line at 936-647-3776 or email the station at lscrstudios@gmail.com.